So quick refresh there, hopefully that's done the trick. Perfect, at least we can see. Right, let's get cracking. So, welcome to the stream, everybody. So first job is we're going to be doing some more highlights on the yellow skin. So literally all of the top edges are going to get a highlight. And now it looks like it's frozen. So, definitely looking a little bit better now. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the stream. It's highlight time. So, getting all these top edges highlighted tonight. Okay, welcome back to the stream. How's everything looking? Is the picture better now and got good audio? So, plan for this evening is we're going to get the highlighting on the yellow finished, which shouldn't take too long, and then we're also going to start work on the black, the canopy, the horns, so all the items on the front of the model at the moment. So once we've done the yellow, we're going to do the canopy next. Okay, so let's highlight this central section now. That's the bottom area done. So highlighting all the top edges. And then we're also going to just border the tattoos a little bit as well. So good evening to the chat. That looks quite nice now, right on the corners. So same again on this side, all the same places. Make sure we keep that symmetry of the model. There you go. Hey Mindits, good evening. Thanks for joining in and tuning in. So we're just putting the final highlight to the skin that we did in the last video. Bex, can you turn it down a little? If you don't mind. Okay, so we're doing the trim around the edge of the canopy. So with this bright highlight right next to the edge, it'll really sort of contrast it once I start painting it. Okay, so that's the front section's done. Let's do a little bit more on the tooth area. Next. I'll do that after.
I'm getting fish.
Alright. So how are you, Mindits? You okay? Oh, thank you. Well, it's progressing nicely. I'll be totally honest. It's definitely exceeding my own expectations at the moment. So quite excited to try and get this finished. Okay, so it's looking pretty good so far. Nearly done with this highlight. Feel like I need to do an extra layer as well, so let's try that. Oh, don't worry. I'll be painting a lot as soon as they come out. I've already pre-ordered one. So yeah, quite excited for that to come out. Still a little while to go yet. I think it's another few weeks into it. Right, so one more set of line highlights on here. I'm just going to get these in the very highest parts. So this is going to be around the canopy. stick that on that bit. Definitely needs a little bit. Oh, really? So Mindits, do you fly a lot of Republic? Got any favourites? Okay, so just looking at this now, I feel like I need to just touch up this black in this corner. Okie dokie. Right, so plan is now we're going to do... So I'm quite happy with the skin so far. Leave a comment in the chat, let me know what you think. It's looking pretty good so far. So, I've been really thinking about what colour I want to do with this. So, I'm tempted to just keep it a really dark colour. Now, I'm trying to visualise, like we said in some of the other videos, trying to visualise how this will look. So, do I want a green colour? No. Do I want like a bluey colour? No, it's a bit too nice. I think it needs to be a dark colour, like a red. Or maybe even just keeping it black. Maybe highlight a bit of grey into the corners. A few stars on there, but then really get a good gloss varnish on there. I'm part tempted to do that. So I think what I'm going to do first then. So let's change brush because we're doing a big thick area. So I'm going to go to a Artist Opress size 1. I'm going to put a fresh layer of black down. And all we're going to do is just get some black paint on here, so it's not the undercoat paint that's showing through, so it's actually been painted on. Just get it right into the corners, but we're going to have to be really careful not to get it over the yellow. So just adding a little bit of water in there as well, just to thin it down. Don't want it going on too thick. So part of me really wants to add a little bit of red in here actually, just to sort of complement what will be the mall Firespray when I do that, so they kind of match a little bit. However, I'm going to keep that black for now. I think once the gloss varnish is on there, it really makes it work. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's move on to the horns. So these are a very flat surface. So the colours I'm going to use for this, I'm going to use a So to do the horns, usually I said like previous videos, we do 3 colours. So the 3 colours we'll be using in this one will be these 3. So we're going to do a base of Rhinox hide, and then we're going to start highlighting with Baneblade brown, and then towards the end we'll have a little bit of Rakarth flesh in there. Yeah, I mean, this may be a dark brown. Like, if I add a little bit of red to the black, it usually goes a little bit of a browny colour. So I'm half tempted for that, actually. Right, so let's give these horns a base coat of Rhinox hide. And then because it's such a flat surface, we're going to make a little bit of an illusion with the way we paint the horns, because I'm going to paint lines and striations on there. Yes, it's important to get a nice base coat down for this. So, good evening to the chat again. Got another viewer just popped in. Welcome. Hope you're well. So tonight so far we have done the final highlight on the skin. We've just blacked out the canopy whilst I decide what colour I'd like to do it. And then in the meantime we're going to get cracking with painting the horns. So we're just giving that a Rhinox brown undercoat. And I'm going to start mixing in a little bit of Baneblade brown into that. So all the highlights looking pretty good. So, again, got my reference material out, having a look at the colours of the horns. It's quite a grainy colour. What I like to do as well is a little bit rough with some of the colour near the base, because that's going to then be a place where you can draw your lines for the striations in the horn. go. So a little bit of brown on there, if you can see it. Okay, so it's working a bit more. Okay, so we're working the brown up on these horns now. It's looking alright. Okay, so I don't want to make them too light. So what I'm going to do now, start working with pure Baneblade brown. I'm going to start putting some lines into them a little bit. Glary tonight. Let's turn it down a little bit. Yes, we get some lines in there. And we can start working with those in a minute. Start highlighting them up. I don't know if you can see that on that horn there, just starting to get a few lines on it. browns are coming on nicely. So we'll start adding in a little bit of Rakarth flesh now. I know it's a flesh sounding paint, but the colour of it is just really goes well with the Baneblade brown to create that sort of chalky bone colour that I'm after. Okay, so moving down to a different size brush now, and we're going to try and pick out these lines now. Okay, so you can see them lines starting to filter through now. Brown for the horns is going down well. So let's get another highlight into that mix. I'm just going to do the very tops of these horns now. That's the first one done. So working through these three horns at the moment. Onto the third one now. Feather them highlights into a point. I was half tempted to actually cut one of these horns actually to represent when he had his when he had the horns sliced. Still might do that actually, so we'll see. I think it was that. I think it was the right one as you look at the front of the face. Be pretty interesting. Okay, so let's go for the final highlight now. So this is going to be a pure Rakarth flesh line. And these will be right at the top of the horns, just where the main highlight's going to be. Okay, so there you go. That's a bit of work on the horns. That's looking pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop there on the horns, and I'm actually just going to give them a quick coat of varnish. Just I do keep touching them a little bit whilst I'm painting, so if I can stick a varnish over the top of them now. It's just a little matte varnish. It'll kind of help protect them if I do touch them while I'm still painting. It's quite a quick drying matte varnish anyway, so a little trick for you here if you have got areas of a model that you are going to touch, because sometimes it happens. You know, you've got a quick drying varnish, it will help protect it if you were to touch it again. You know, usually with the small base models I don't usually have a problem with touching little areas on it. But this one's a lot bigger and a lot more movement because of all the detail. But I'm going to say, happy with the horns so far, because they're not finished. So there you go, that's a little bit of a varnish onto the horns, just to protect it. So varnish that I use is a Vallejo matte varnish. Works a treat, does the job I need it to do. Okay, so that is the horns complete. So now I'm going to start work on the hull area. So there is a lot of panels down here and underneath this front section. Now the contrast is that it's going to be black, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a very, very dark grey. Now I've already got a little bit on there, but this is obviously the contrast to all the skin colours. So I'm just going to give this a quick work over with a larger brush. So it will be a Chaos Black and Mechanicus Standard Grey mix. Like it's frozen again. Mindits, are you still there? Or whoever's still there? Just give it a quick refresh. Hopefully that's done the trick. So yeah, looking good so far. Cool. Is the stream coming through okay? Does it keep freezing, or can you still see what's going on and hear me? Perfect, Mindits. Thank you very much for that. It might be just my laptop keeps lagging out a little bit or something, I'm not sure. But as long as you can hear everything okay, that's all good, that's all I'm after. As long as you can see what's going on. And we'll get cracking on the back of this at some point as well. So much detail on the back of these Firesprays, it's just fantastic. The details are very, very good. So what I'm doing here is just basically putting a really dark grey down. It's like a base colour for just a little bit of a subtle highlight when it comes to finishing the rest of the hull off. Because again, most of the attention on this model is definitely going towards the tattoos. So I don't want to overpower that by creating too much detail in another area of the model. So it needs painting, but it doesn't need a lot of work. And that's the key to it, is that if you're trying to emphasise one area of a model, then that can really make a difference if you get it right. And then we're also going to need a little bit of metallic coloration in here too, sort of on these posts and hydraulic arms here, in the gaps, in these sort of fanned areas on the top as well. And then obviously we've got to do something with the guns as well at some point. And with this being sort of a generic dark grey colour, then to highlight it up in a moment, all I need to do is just give a little bit of an edge highlight to these panels in a grey, and that's kind of it, really. Some people might say, is that it? But like I say, it's how you get the colours to work off each other. It's very important. So I've been going an hour now. Thanks, Mindits, for tuning in. Feel free to share the stream if you want to. little bit of grey just into the little gaps there as well. Something on the front of the hull there. Right, so let's make that grey a little bit more now. Now what we're going to do now is do a little bit of subtle fine highlighting, so back down to a size 0 brush. And we're going to be highlighting just some top edges. So just super subtle grey highlights. But just get them in the right places. So let's get all them high edges in here as well. So guys, if you're watching this on a playback, please remember to follow the stream. We're very, very close to our August follower goal. So we're only 5 people away. So close. So if you feel free, if you want to follow the channel, that'd be great. main part of the hull done. Above the law, law one, above the law. Okie dokie, so a bit more grey done on these. Okay, starting to come together nicely on the front. So, final highlight now on the grey. So let's mix it a fair bit more. And this is like the top highlight on all these panels, or will be. So let's do it that way around again. There you go, what do you think so far, Mindits? Cool. Glad you like it. Yeah, it's just starting to really sort of pop the colour a little bit now. So I never leave an area that, you know, so it looks untouched. But now with just a little bit of the grey highlight across the edges, it's really starting to bring it together. No, I've not done an Andraster before. So I've done quite a few Firesprays, but a lot of them lately seem to be character versions and different styles. So I've done the Boba Fett, I've done the Django, done a couple of very individual ones. But I'd like to do some more, I'll be honest. I think it's a fantastic model. Every time I paint one, I love it. Varnish on the horns did the trick. Okay, so I think we are time for a little bit of metal. So I'm going to put some metal on this top panel here on each side, internally here as well, and then on these pipes coming out of here. So I'm going to make quite a real dark metallic silver, so I'm going to use Abaddon Black and I'm going to mix some lead belcher in to really darken down that metallic tone. And change brush as well. So back to a size 1. There we go. So we have got plenty of paint on the brush now. In the bathroom. So there we go. Like I said, it's not too bright, this metallic colour, so it's not a massive contrast straight away. It kind of blends in with the grey. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to stick a wash over it too, and that'll even darken it down a little bit further. So you can sort of see how the colours are picking it up on one side. And same again on the other side. Controlling the flow of the paint. Get a good mix of it. I suppose the good thing when you've got such a dark colour like this that's similar to the grey is you can be a little bit rough with it as well. Okie dokie. Okay, so that's sort of the metal in place where it needs to be, and then I think I'm going to move around the back end and stick some of this in here too. So I'm tempted just to cover the whole thing in the dark metal colour. In fact, I am going to do that. So this can be its base colour, and then we can start working on the engine glow after that. So while the colour's still quite good. So I'm going to leave the perimeter of it still the grey. Like I say, because it's so dark as well that it blends in with the grey too. And then we can like I say, work from there with the engines. Again, not sure what colour I want the engines yet. You know, part of me really wants to stick some red in here somewhere. And what I also am going to do, so where you can see that marking for the one of the last videos for the Enigma code, I'm going to be doing an Enigma symbol in there freehand. That's why I've put the green stuff on there to create a position for it. Right, so you can see that just really dark metallic colour. I'm just going to put it inside here as well a little bit. So this is what I call a filler colour. It just blends everything into the background of the model. Still looks like it's had some attention, but at the same time it just makes it nice and easy to finish that area off. Just tidy something up and blend it in so it doesn't look like it's unpainted. Like I say, we're mostly, I'll be honest, we're mostly there. We've still got to decide what we're going to do with this canopy. We've got to decide what we're going to do with the engines. We need to stick a wash on these metallic areas that we've done so far. Just tidy them little bits up. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. You know, what do you think, guys? Are you happy with the progress so far? There we go. So, if you're new in and you haven't followed, please hit the follow button. All the followers are appreciated. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to a little bit of more silver into the original colour. So this is going to act like a highlight on the areas that I've already done silver. Again, it's going to be very subtle. Try and pick out some of these higher edges as well. Honestly, just a slightly lighter shade. So just mixed in a touch more lead belcher into that last mix of Abaddon Black and lead belcher. So try and pick out those highlighted edges. Don't know what it's been like where you guys have been, but here in Manchester in the UK, it's been a bit of a weird day. It's been nice. When I got up for work this morning, it was 4 degrees. 4 degrees, a bit nippy. It's starting to cool down again outside, I can feel it. Got the back door open, and it's getting a bit fresh out there. Okay, so now it's time for the black wash. So this will just tone down those silvers that we've done already. Okay, so I've mixed a nice thin black wash ready to go here. So I'm just going to put that all over the metallic sections that I've already done. Like you'll probably see there, it'll just pick up them lines nicely. Yeah. Okay, so that's the metal with a little bit of a wash on it. And then we'll do the back as well. More water. So just by adding sort of the black wash here, it just seeps all into the recesses. Just adds a little bit more of a shading effect with what you've painted so far. However, we haven't finished yet, because we'll still need to do some highlights. I'm going to pick out some different metallic colours in here as well, just to break it up, just from being so sort of mono-coloured, if it's a word. So, what do you think about colour-wise for the engines? See, I'm quite liking the idea of a yellow, but you know, there's a lot of yellow on this already. So, I'm thinking possibly a green or maybe a bright green, potentially. But that metal has really taken it quite well in there, quite like that. There we go, so all starting to come together quite nicely. Yep, give me your opinions, tell me what you think. So, yeah, metal's looking good. Just need to do a little bit more work on this yellow on the wings, but I'm quite happy with that. And the wash is drying nicely around the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit more metal into the mix that's still wet on those. Pick out some of them higher edges. So like just round here. Yeah, I don't want it to be too bright around the back here, I'll be honest. But if I can pick out the higher edges, that'll look pretty good. And obviously with the higher edges, that's the bit where the ink or the water and the wash isn't sat at the moment. Just see it picks out some of those areas really nicely. And what we're going to do towards the end of this as well, we're going to get a little bit of a roughed up look to the some of the edges as well. Hi Beyblade. Yeah, X-Wing is an awesome game. So, looking good. Okay, so I'm happy with the grey. The metal is quite subdued, quite dirty looking now, which is nice. Around the back, quite happy with that as well. I'm thinking maybe we get a little bit more of a highlight in there on some of the sections. So I'm going to get some Runefang silver, which is like a quite bright silver. I'm going to mix a touch of that in too and go after a few more of those higher edges. So I'll be going. So we're on an hour and 42 minutes so far. That's flown by. Like I say, we are really essentially nearly done. Okay. Okay, so next job then is... Oh, thanks for the follow, Armsfed. That's great. Thank you very much. Looks like we're only 4 followers away from hitting the August target. So fingers crossed. I'll be well happy if we meet that. This is my first month on Streamlabs, and the plan was if I could get to 75, I'd just be over the moon. So to be so close is still a phenomenal achievement. I'm really happy you guys are all getting involved and are enjoying the streams. And Beyblade as well, thank you very much. Okay, so next is going to be we're going to do the Enigma Wargaming symbol on this section here at the top in the middle. So I kind of sculpted myself a little circular area so I can put this on. So keep reaching across my paints. So as you can see with the symbol, it's kind of like a browny orange at the top and then heading down into sort of a yellowy colour at the bottom. So the way I do these symbols is full brown background, add a bit of orange, and just have that near the top. So I'm working with quite wet paint here, and then I'm going to start mixing some yellow in and sort of mix that down towards the bottom. So technically, with all the paint being still wet, this is wet blending. So just add a bit more yellow in there and kind of mix it together as we go. I bet you're thinking, how's he doing this? So what I'm going to do is, once I've just finished this section and it dries, then I'll just get my black paint and then just go over it and cut out the rest of the Enigma symbol. So it's quite a quick symbol, to be fair. It looks a lot harder than it actually is. Okay, so that's the basics of it. And then what I'm going to do is, in a second, I will drop down to my size 0 brush and use the black paint to cut out. But while we're letting that dry, let's have a look around the other side and see if there's anything that needs tidying up. So again, really happy with how it's turned out so far. I'm going to now do like a brown coloured wash over where I put the black, and this just adds a bit more grimy look to it. So I'm going to be using one of my favourites, so Agrax Earthshade. So Agrax Earthshade, and then I'm going to put it over where we've already done the black. And that just makes it look a lot more grimy, you know, as these scum ships should be. So like I say, all it is just a little bit of a wash in the right way, and if you put it in the right way, it looks good. So Armsved, complete noob here. Any advice on how or what to apply to grey miniatures for a little more depth without them looking dirty? Okay, so depends what you're painting. Is it an X-Wing model, or is it a Space Marine, or what you're painting? Because there's two ways of doing it. You can spray it grey and give the whole model a wash, like a null oil wash. Oh, thanks for the follow, Bobby Big Plays 3. Thank you very much. Oh, and the follow for Gender Liquids as well. Thank you. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so some of these people might be getting taken off. Eclipse Second Dawn, so it's spaceships. Okay, so what I would do is, depending on the type of the model, is you can do something called sort of ridge washes. So instead of, you know, if you've got your model and you just wash everything and it dirties the whole model down, if you get your wash and just paint it into the lines, so you've got your base colour and then you paint it into the lines of the model, that can really add depth to it without making it look dirty. So if you're painting grey, you always want to use a black wash for that. So a null oil is your best one. Make sure it's not the gloss shade though, because it makes it very shiny. I have one of those just here, and it says gloss on it, and I don't use it. It just makes everything look awful. So that's virtually brand new. I never use it. But if you get the normal null oil and paint it just into the crevices around your model, that should help draw down the grey colour. So hopefully that helps. You're very welcome, mate. No problem at all. Okie dokie. So that's dry now on the back. So let's get the black ready, and we're going to just etch out the Enigma symbol into that. So down to my size 0 brush. So I've had a little bit of practice doing this with my Space Marines. So going a little bit quiet now just because I'm trying to concentrate, so bear with me a moment. So I get the rough design in, and then literally I'll then start to work that in. Okay, so there you can see the Enigma symbol taking place. Just need to extend it up at the top with my yellow colours. Just let that black dry. So thank you for everybody for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, where did you find me? Yeah, always interested to find out if it's if you just come across me from a share, or if someone's recommended the page, or if you just stumbled across it. Always interested. Okay, so let's just touch up some other little areas on the model now. So front areas here. All right, fantastic. Well, glad you made it, and thanks for the follow. I paint lots of spaceships. If you have a look at my Facebook and my Instagram, you'll see a lot more work like this. We do lots of X-Wing miniatures games. On my last stream, I painted an Inquisitor model, this one. Let's try and show you that. Like unique character style models, which I like to try and do. Yes. Nearly. And then I like to paint a lot of Jedi as well. So we've just done an Ayla Secura Jedi Interceptor repaint as well. So honestly, one of my favourites so far. Quite really pleased with this one. So and then after we do our Savage Opress Firespray, I've got another one that I'm going to paint up and do another Darth Maul inspired scheme. I've done one of those before, but I'm going to make a nice pair of models for next time we can actually get to a table and play for real. So, and there you go, Mindits. That's still the model for you there, mate, on my desk. The post offices don't open till Tuesday, so it's pride of place and showing off whenever I can. Possibly in the art section, but all these models are for X-Wing miniature game, so which is a tabletop board game. So I don't know. Okie dokie. So we've I've just noticed as well at the bottom of the screen there that we've hit the August goal. Whee! So I've been having a nice beer while I've been painting, so I'll say cheers to that. So thank you to everybody. Great stuff. Okie dokie. So that's drying a bit now. So let's do a fraction more work on that in a moment. So recommendations for the engine colour. What do you think? I'm kind of getting drawn to. It's either blue or green. I could do a dark red, kind of tie that in with the mall one I'm going to do. I'm still not sold yet. Maybe I'll have to wait till the next video for that one. Black. That's looking better. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Right, so I think what I'm going to do is I am going to keep the canopy on this black. So I'm going to do a little bit of an edge highlight towards the edge of it, but I'm not going to go crazy on it. So I'm using my Chaos Black and a little bit of grey. I'm just going to sort of feather a highlight in. Just sort of make it stand out a touch. So you can just see that. So what I'm trying to do with this grey highlight here, just leave a little bit of a gap between that and the edge of the hull. So again, that gives another sort of contrast look to it. There you go, I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen. just about see it. Trying not to get too much glare on it, but you get the idea. So what we're going to do now is just put a few white reflective glare marks on the actual canopy, and then we're going to varnish it, and then I'm going to call the front of it virtually done. So on the last one I did 3 dots. I'm going to do the same on this one. Okay, let's try and get this mirrored up. Wasn't a bad effort. You can just see that reflection there. Move it out of the way of the direct glare. The guns are definitely going to have a red cannon on there. So I'm going to stick a bit of Mephiston red just on the top of the guns. So you can just see that on there, makes them go red. Yeah. And then I think I'm going to I'm going to paint the canopy with my varnish, which I need to grab. So for my glass varnishing, I use an old Games Workshop water effect paint. So I'll stick a couple of so stick that into the top of there. Let's get this painted on. Make sure I keep this right in them gaps. It takes a little while to dry, but the initial curing phase happens quite quickly. It'll take at least 24 hours to be cured properly and look really like glass. So I'm really happy with the progress tonight, so we're nearly done. So I might do an extra session tomorrow and get it finished. That'd be nice. Okay, so it's not pooling anywhere, it's got all the way to the edge of each one of those. Let's put a little blob over the top of the red. I'll keep that protected. Pull that away. Clean it thoroughly off the brush as well. Okay. And there we go, guys. So that's where we're at so far. I'll try and take some better pictures of it and stick it up on my Instagram and my Facebook so far. It's looking pretty good. So thank you for tuning in and having a look. Still got to do a little bit more on the horns as well, but we're getting there. You know, really, really close. So Brilliant. Well, thank you everyone for joining in. If you've watched it to this point or you're rewatching it, remember to head over to my other social media. I've got Instagram at Enigma Wargaming. We've got Facebook at Enigma Wargaming. YouTube as well, where I upload videos to, and we'll have a lot of painting videos coming soon. Sort of really easy basics to get you started and to help you improve as a painter. So thank you everyone for watching. Minditz, thanks for watching through, mate. I'll let you know when the Inquisitor's posted off. To all the new followers that have joined in as well, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. So it won't be long. I'm pretty sure there'll be one tomorrow. If not, we've got Wednesday and Thursday as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.